Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. I'm so glad you're here. What do we got going on? Well, we had this run up in the market, right? 18% off of the lows. We've ran up, and pretty much has been straight up from the bottom, right? And I do think we're going to push this to a new record high, but I don't think it's going to go in a straight line, the V-shaped recovery. I think we're going to run up, pull back, run up, pull back, run up. We're going to push it to a new record high. That's what they want to do. They want to push it up one more time. They want to push Bitcoin up one more time. Bitcoin's actually leading the charge, right? It'll probably get to 110, 120. Bitcoin, push it up. Stock market, push it up. Both will be at a record high. You'll have a chance to get out. Now, if you don't get out, I do expect a big, long bear market that's going to be the rug pull of all time. That's just my take. Your take may be completely different, but you see, we got a problem. The reason there's going to be that big bear market is because of the debt market. The United States in a lot of debt, right? 37 trillion on the balance sheet. Off the balance sheet, another 120 trillion unfunded liabilities. We'll use round numbers, $150 trillion. Truth of the matter is there's no way that's ever going to get paid back, right? Eventually there's going to be some type of default on that. We'll see how that all plays out. But you see, us baby boomers, we've lived well above our means, and we spent a lot of money that we didn't have, right? And we leave it for the younger generations to figure out. Look, if we're going to die off and you guys figure out what to do with all the debt that we spent, right? I mean, you guys will have to figure it out, but it's good. You young people, you guys have a plan out there. The plan is Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin. Now they're going to blow Bitcoin up into this big bubble, right? Now, here's the thing. To get into Bitcoin, you need stablecoins. Stablecoins is the real plan. Okay, this has been the plan all along. The stablecoin, right? You see, we ran out of buyers for our debt. The foreign countries, they don't want our debt anymore. Central banks around the world are dumping our bonds and they're buying gold. They're buying the real asset, which is gold, right? They don't want our bonds anymore, so they go into another tier one asset, which is gold. So they're dumping our bonds. We don't have any buyers for our bonds. That's a problem because we got about $28 trillion rolling over in the next 2 years. See, all these bonds are short term and they're starting to roll over, and we're going to need buyers for them. We need to find a buyer, and we figured it out. It's going to be the stablecoin. Now, the biggest stablecoin in the world right now is called Tether. What exactly is a stablecoin? Well, it's programmable money, right? It's really a digital currency that's programmable. They can turn you on, turn you off. They can program it, right? It takes away that freedom of real money, but they have that. And so Tether is really the first central bank digital currency. We're going to see more of those come. The United States is going to get its own stable coin because it sees that they're going to be the largest buyer of bonds. Right now, I think Tether is like the third largest buyer of our bonds. You see, a stable coin has to be backed by something real. Not that bonds are exactly real, but okay, let's call them real, right? So they have to back it with bonds. Now, they do have some other things they back it with, which is interesting. They have it backed with 50 tons of gold. Why would a stable coin be backed with gold? Maybe they know something, right? Like the central banks know something, but Tether on their books has 50 tons of gold that they keep in Switzerland. Now, Tether is in El Salvador. El Salvador is the headquarters for Tether. Tether made $13 billion in profit in 2024, has only 170 employees and made $13 billion in profit. That's got to be close to a record of most profits per employee, right? But 13 billion. These stable coins are really taking off and they have to buy our bonds. That's why we're going to let this bubble get bigger and bigger, right? That's the great salvation for the United States debt market is the stable coins. Okay, so the stable coins is the solution. We're going to let the Bitcoin run, right? Now, we'll see how that all plays out. You see, the problem is when the dollar goes to zero, which eventually it will, the stable coins will go to zero, which which eventually they will. And of course, that'll bring Bitcoin once again to zero. Now, Bitcoin's at 100,000, and I do think it's going much higher, much higher, much higher. Someone else who thinks it's going much higher is Michael Saylor of MicroStrategies. We got to talk a little bit about this cat. This cat's wild, man. He's got some wild stuff in his head. I'm not saying he's not a genius. I'm saying his followers are idiots, and we'll take a look at that. So he's got, I'm just going to use rough numbers, 550,000 Bitcoin. He's bought them, right? He's bought 550,000 Bitcoin. He's borrowed money to do it, right? So he's levered 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1. I'm not sure what his exact leverage is, but he's borrowed money and levered it to buy the Bitcoin. So he's got 550,000 of these on his books, right? MicroStrategies has them on his books. Now, okay, now that's interesting. So that you multiply that by 100,000 and you get approximately, well, that's just called $50 billion, right? But yet the market cap for MicroStrategies is 120 billion. 50 billion of Bitcoin on his books, and that's all on leverage. But the market cap is $120 billion. Now that's fascinating to me. That's like, okay, you want to go out and buy a Bitcoin for 100,000? Well, why not go out and buy one for 200,000? Because Michael Saylor, that's what he's saying his Bitcoin's worth. Now there was this conference in Paris. It wasn't exactly a Bitcoin conference. I guess it was a blockchain conference. But anyways, they had 10,000 people at this conference. 10,000 people paid $1,000 to be there. Now you do the math, that comes what, $10 million to the promoter. It's a very good time to be a Bitcoin promoter right now. Used to be a really good time to be a Beanie Baby promoter, man. They had conferences all around the world and people would pay hundreds of dollars to go to them and they'd exchange their Beanie Babies and it was so cool. Right now it's the Bitcoin thing. They're, out there exchanging their Bitcoin. You realize that there's like, I don't know, how many coins are there? Someone told me there's over 1 million coins already. If you count things like the Trump coin, the Melania coins, there's over 1 million of them. But you can only have 21 million Bitcoin. But you can have 1 million different Bitcoins of 21 million each. Very fascinating phenomena this crypto is, right? And this crypto is very fascinating. So, okay, back to the Michael Saylor story. So you can buy Bitcoin up here through MicroStrategies at 200,000. You can buy just regular Bitcoin for 100,000. So at this conference, there were the experts. There's Bitcoin experts. Oh, you betcha they're coming out of the woodwork. I don't claim to be an expert in anything. I'm not an expert, but this is what I listen to. This is really fascinating to me. Someone raised their hand and they asked the expert, right? How come MicroStrategies sells for 2 times the value of their Bitcoin? How come like they have 50 billion in Bitcoin, they sell for $120 billion? The expert, he's kind of flustered for a little bit, but then he came up with the answer. He goes, well, their Bitcoin is more productive than just a regular Bitcoin. Now that was fascinating to me. Who thinks up stuff like that? Like, I don't know this. What does the Michael Saylor Bitcoin do that a regular Bitcoin doesn't do? Is it get up and dance around? I don't even know what a regular Bitcoin does. It's like Warren Buffett. He said, you give me all the Bitcoin in the world, I wouldn't give you $50 for the whole mess. Why? Because it doesn't do anything. It has no value to me. Give me 1% of the farmland. I'll put $10 billion in your pocket because that does something. That's real. You got all the Bitcoin. You got nothing. You got air. You got digits on the screen. You got nothing, right? If Bitcoin went away today, what would the world miss? What could we not do? If gold went away, silver went away, you wouldn't even have Bitcoin because you can't make Bitcoin without them, right? You can't get those numbers on the screen without the gold and silver in your computer system. So you need the gold and silver. You don't need the Bitcoin. But it's fascinating. It's fascinating. Okay, so we got to go back to Michael Saylor's story here. Okay, so anyways, he's got these Bitcoin, right? And they're selling for over 200,000 of Bitcoin on his books, right? Now this is fascinating. They've lost money the last 5 quarters in a row. How do you lose money when it keeps going up, right? Well, he's lost money 5 quarters in a row now. Okay, so on the books, he's losing money. But here's the thing. They just changed their financial accounting to now allow the company to fairly value its Bitcoin unrealized gains and losses, to fairly value it. This brings back memories of Enron to me. You know what Enron was doing? Like they'd buy a barrel of oil, right? And the oil was selling for $30. They'd say, well, it's going to be $2,000 in 5 years. So we'll just put that on our books at $2,000 and claimed $1,970 profit. Well, his company was the biggest Ponzi out there. Circled the drain, went down, right? You all remember Enron? If you don't look it up, Skelling and someone else. I don't think anybody went to jail. Though people don't go to jail. Will Michael Saylor go to jail? I don't know. Maybe he's just a genius. I don't say he's doing anything illegal. I'm just saying Enron had this thing where they could fairly value their assets, and a couple people got sentenced to jail, but I think one offed himself and one died right of a heart attack right before he went in. So I don't think the two head guys actually saw any jail time. But it's fascinating. So they changed their accounting systems on MicroStrategies so that they can fairly value their Bitcoin. Now, what's fairly valued? Well, Michael Saylor, this is fascinating. I love this. All right, so he says Bitcoin's going to $13 million a Bitcoin. $13 million a Bitcoin. Now, if he doesn't buy one more Bitcoin, right, just keep the Bitcoin he's got, and he's a diamond hander, he's not going to sell any of it, that would put the value of his company at about $9 trillion. It would be more valuable than Apple, Google, Amazon, all combined together. His would be the most valuable company in the world, right? Now, what did he make of value to contribute to the world? Did he make it? Oh, no, he doesn't make anything. Well, what do they do? Oh, they don't do anything. Oh, I guess they do something. They buy Bitcoin. So he's going to have the most valuable company in the world. He's going to be the richest man in the world because of Bitcoin. Very fascinating to me because you see his claim is that it's guaranteed to go up between 30 and 60% for the next 40 or 50 years. I mean, this is what he's telling people, right? Now, he's got millions of followers. I'm not criticizing that. I mean, he knows how to sell, right? I mean, I'm not just a little guy. I maybe got 1,000 followers on YouTube who laugh at me a lot, and they're going to give me some hate on this because he's got a lot of followers. I mean, they love this guy, right? I mean, it's incredible. But okay, so he's got all this Bitcoin, going to become a $9 trillion company, but he's going to double that because he just borrowed $21 billion. It's always 21, right? Because Bitcoin can only make like 21 million Bitcoin. But there's a million different Bitcoins out there. Matter of fact, I just played Ethereum last week. Oh, I had an incredible day. I got a buy signal. I use these little charts and I look at them in signals. I've never bought one of the Ethereum, those ETFs for Ethereum. So anyways, I plowed some money into it. The next day went up 20%. 20% Ethereum went up 20%. I looked at what Bitcoin, it went up 2%. Well, that's good. Ethereum's going up 10 times as fast. Maybe we should have an Ethereum reserve for the U.S., right? I mean, if you're going to gamble, let's go with something a little more risky. Not that that's more risky than Bitcoin. I'm just saying, you see, the Ethereum, when the ETFs came out, it's down about 60% from the day. Like, you bought it on the day the ETF came out, it dropped about 60%. I finally got a buy signal on it because it jumped above the 20-day moving average. Plowed some money into it. It made 20% in one day. Look, I don't want this stuff to go away. I love to gamble on Ethereum. I love to gamble on Bitcoin. It just cracks me up when I'm listening to, Michael Saylor, and he's got all these ideas of 13 million of Bitcoin. And I suppose that's possible, right? I mean, maybe if the government comes and bails them out, all these Bitcoin people, they wanted to be separate from the government. They wanted to have their own little world from the government. But now they're begging the government, please get a Bitcoin reserve because we need more buyers. We don't have buyers if we're going to go up 30% every year. Where are we going to get all the buyers? I mean, what's going to happen with that? I'm not sure how that's all going to play out, but he actually believes that Bitcoin is the center of the universe. I mean, that's his God, and he's entitled to that. I don't care if you worship your dog. That's your choice. That's not my God. Bitcoin, not my God. My God created the gold, the silver. He even created the Bitcoin, but the Bitcoin people don't know that. They think it's man-made. Then again, you ask a Bitcoin person, they think gold's man-made. They're a little confused some days. I'm going to get so much hate on this one. I just love this stuff, though. You got to love talking about it, right? But anyway, so this goes on, and he's going to have this valuable company. I'm just saying be careful. They changed their accounting practices to be able to fairly value their Bitcoin. And in his mind, its fairly value is $13 $15 million. I don't know why not trillion, I mean, it could be, right? But it's just not right. Something's off a little bit. Yes, it's going to go up. I said that. You're going to see MicroStrategies was at 500. I shorted it the first time at 500 in one day. In one day, it dropped from 500 down to below 400. I got scared. I just go, I'm out. It went down to 300, I think even into the twos, but now it's headed back up. And I do think they're going to push it to 500 because if Bitcoin gets to a new record high, MicroStrategy should be up there at 500. Will I short it again? I'll have to revisit it at that time, but we'll see how that all plays out. We'll see what happens there. Anyways, I hope you like this stuff. Give me the thumbs up, punch the subscribe button. Get out there, everybody. Have a great day. We'll talk again real soon. Bye-bye now.